All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So the bad news is Karen reminded me about 3 weeks ago that I needed to write a speech for this, and that gave me plenty of time to write it. So I prepared 6 pages of speech for y'all. But in light of tonight's events, we're going to cut it in half down to 3 pages, so we are good to go. No, sir, I am good. I got my glasses on, I got my paper, let's roll. All right, good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me okay at the back. I'm sure you can right now. If you miss a few words here and there, please just assume that they were witty and wise. In case you haven't guessed it already, I'm Kaitlyn's dad, Mike, and this wonderful woman here in the dress is my wife, and Kaitlyn's mom, Karen. All right, following up, before I get started, I just want to say that Karen has worked incredibly hard behind the scenes on all the little and big details that made today extra special. So thank you, my love. I'm certainly grateful to have been left out of the long discussions about table seating decisions. There were several nights they were at our kitchen table going over seating. And I was watching football, to be honest. But I also want to give a shout out to Michael's parents, Polly, Big Mike, and Michelle sitting over there for their help this weekend as well. It was definitely a team effort for us to get to this part. All right, getting back to today, what a day it's been. The venue looks amazing. I mean, it's the best place we've ever been to. The weather was kind of iffy, but if I can get through this speech without breaking up, it'll be a great day for me and for all of us. So walking my daughter down the aisle this afternoon, I couldn't have been prouder. I mean, doesn't she look absolutely stunning? So, and if like me, you've seen what she looks like right after one of her hunting or softball days, it's hard to believe that she scrubs up this well. But that's Kaitlyn, full of little contradictions. Like the fact that despite being someone who spent way too much time at different colleges, she went on to surprise us all and achieve great things with her ability to establish and successfully run several businesses. Because as some of you will know, and I don't think she minds me mentioning, Kaitlyn was diagnosed with ADD at a young age. She'd be the first to admit that she wasn't the biggest fan of school and found a lot of it pretty tough, which taught her to work hard. That explains why she's so good at sports such as softball, because that same toughness attitude carries over. But work hard she certainly did. Years later, not only did she attend ODU, but also went on to graduate with a bachelor's degree, which is doubly amazing when you consider the number of extracurricular activities she also managed to squeeze in. It's a wonder she had any time to study at all. And I'm not going to go into the extracurricular activities. If you want to know, just ask her. Anyway, for someone who's obviously such a smart cookie, Kaitlyn has been known to make the occasional not-so-smart decision, and I wouldn't be giving you a full picture of her as a woman unless I shared an example with you today. Like the time she decided to have a huge party at our house in the backyard. And if you've ever been to a Kaitlyn party, you know that the main beverage being served is not soda. Unfortunately, after about half of Chesapeake showed up, there were cars parked everywhere, lots of kids hanging out, and loud music being played. At this point, you've probably guessed that when the 3 of these get mixed together, the Chesapeake Police Department feels obligated to stop by and say hello. Fortunately for us, they were very gracious and were making sure that everyone acted safely and there would be no drinking and driving. Safety was always a high priority of the people at the parties. So our decision-making isn't always the best, but I think we can all agree that saying yes when that young man sitting next to her proposed the question was definitely one of her better decisions. So I don't think anyone can argue with the fact that Kaitlyn looks stunning today in her gorgeous white gown. And Michael, well, what can we say about him in that sharp blue suit of his? It reminds me of the old tale of a little girl who, attending a wedding for the first time, asked her mother why the bride was wearing white. Mom told her that white was the color of happiness, and today was the happiest day of her life. The girl thought for a moment, and then asked, so why does the man wear black? Thank goodness the groom's side is not wearing black today. So what can I say about Michael? Well, like many of Kaitlyn's other friends, he just kind of showed up. But by that I mean Kaitlyn was always very social, and friends were continually at the house spending time with us. By the time I figured out what was happening, I realized that he had a good job, he was employed, that he hunted, he was mechanically inclined, and had a bright future ahead of him. So Karen and I decided to let him hang around.
Even when you didn't know.
All right, last page. Anyway, despite Michael's many charms, I have to admit that it takes a certain caliber of man to capture the heart of a feisty young woman like my daughter. If I have one tip for you, Michael, from nearly 2 decades of living under the same roof as Kaitlyn, if you find yourself in an argument and can't seem to find a way out, just make a quick excuse to leave the room and go outside and do chores for a couple hours. That approach continues to work for me, even today. All right, now at this point in my speech, I'm supposed to share some words of wisdom with both of you as you embark upon your married life together. I should probably say something like, always listen to each other, or never go to sleep on an argument, but instead I'm just going to say simply this. Just try to have fun together. Laugh about things. Life is going to have its ups and downs. But if you can see the funny side, there's not much that you can't deal with as a couple. Kaitlyn, I'm so proud to be your dad. Michael, it's a great pleasure to welcome you into our family. And Michael, one last note, there is a no return policy. So ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a toast. Would you please be upstanding and raise your glasses to Kaitlyn and Michael, the bride and the groom. Toast.
Thank you. You gonna start? Thank you. You start.
I don't plan on talking at all.
Yeah.
I mean, special shots.
How do I use this thing? All right. Now, first off, thank you all for all coming. We always talked, wanted to do a destination wedding. We knew a lot of y'all couldn't make it if we did anything too crazy, so figured a few hour car ride would get y'all out of the house for the weekend. So thank you all for coming again. It's been a busy year, lots going on. I'm glad to have y'all. Praying for Stephanie and everything goes smooth with her. A huge shout out to Karen for everything you did. Family, parents, friends, sisters, everything involved, brothers, the whole nine. We couldn't do it without y'all, so thank y'all for everything. Thank y'all for being here. A little delayed, but we're ready to party. So, in saying that, we will do our own cheers as well. Let's get the party started. Cheers. I don't know what's next.